Peacemakers.
Yeah.
Well, look, we should have some debate on scientists from one side and scientists from the other side. I'm not
It's very
against
one-sided, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm not against the people. If that's their choice. If they want to, but I'm an 84-year-old. I'm an 84-year-old, and I'm non-medication. Why would I put poison into my body? So that's it. Yeah, and it is proven fact that there are 3 types of poison, or maybe even more, in this vaccine. All you have to do is just open your eyes and have a look what's available, what's not available.
And the simple thing is most people just want the answers, don't they? And the answers are being hidden from us.
That's right, yeah. Now, we have debates in all sorts of things, politics and everything. Why can't we have a debate in this? There are scientists on both sides of that.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, so one side can't be stupid and the other side is all full of brains.
And you also have to ask yourself which side is more trustworthy, the ones who are getting paid to say what they are saying, or the ones who are literally risking their careers to say it.
But I really believe the truth will come out.
I hope so.
Before long.
I hope so. What was your name?
Tony.
Tony. We're independent media. We're just going around asking people what's brought them here today. I'll just wait till the camera guy comes along.
So yeah, the question to the answer, the reason I'm here today is the company I work for, big Pilbara company, international company, actually trying to mandate the vaccines for people that don't want it, and I don't want it. My partner's about 38 weeks pregnant, so look, if I don't get it, how am I going to support my family? The company I work for, they don't care about that. They don't care about us.
Yeah.
So.
What's the general consensus with most of the guys you work with, the guys and girls?
Oh, well, look, as you know, the mining industry, it's good money, it's a good lifestyle, it's a good roster. So, look, it just depends how much they're prepared to give up, really, to support their families or give up their toys or their habits or whatever they may have, you know, their
lifestyle
really.
that they've become accustomed to, exactly.
Yes, exactly, so.
Well, thanks for coming along today.
No worries, thank you, cheers.
Would you like to do an interview? Talk about why you're here today? To do a little interview and talk about what's brought you here today? We're independent media.
Independent
We're
media?
independent media.
Okay, sure.
So what's brought you guys here today? Obviously you're part of the No Mandatory Vaccination Party.
Yeah, I was the North Metro candidate for the No Mandatory Vaccination Party. Look, we're really just here to stand for the choice not to take a medication which may not be right for everybody.
That's right. Does the No Mandatory Vaccination Party have any candidates in the federal election?
We're not a federally registered party yet. That process is underway, so that may happen. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Would you guys like to do an interview? To talk about what?
Peacemakers, sir, why not? Is he okay?
If it's okay with you.
No, we're fine with it.
Yeah. So what's brought you here today? Obviously you are a FIFO worker. FIFO worker.
Of 17 years, and there's no one that's going to tell me to take this vaccination. Well, it's not. It's gene therapy. It's we all know that it's not for our health. It's for our obedience, and I'm not going to be obedient.
What do you think the consensus is among most of the people that you work with? Do most people feel the way you feel, or is?
Nah, I'm definitely a minority. There's a lot of people that are getting coerced into it today, unfortunately, and everyone has to do what they need to do. But for us, I'm not going to.
You're going to stand your ground.
Yes.
Good on you, and thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Here's Franklin. So what's brought you guys here today?
Live, yeah? It's live, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Is this your first freedom rally?
Yes, it is, and very proud to be here.
Thank you for coming. So what's brought you here today?
I'm doing this for my children and my grandchildren. I don't want them to grow up in a world where they don't have freedom of choice.
I'm in the mining game, have been for 24 years, and now it looks like if we have to have the needle or our freedoms taken away, then I have to look at those choices, and that's why we're here today, for that as well as the future of our people. And why else did they fight for war? For the freedom, you know, and yeah.
Yep.
So we're standing as well for that reason.
Thanks for coming, guys, and I hope you've enjoyed it so far.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll do it again for sure.
Yeah. Cheers.
We're independent media. We're independent media.
Independent?
Yes.
So you're normal or good? And good.
We're good. Would you like to do an interview? And tell people, would you like to tell people what's brought you here today?
Huh?
Would you like to talk to the people and say why you're here today? Or are you guys just shopping?
No, I came here because of that thing. Because the virus is a makeup thing. Cover up. If you just check out the last 2 years roughly, we had the hardest time for the working class people. And the rich got richer and richer and richer.
That's right. It's been a massive redistribution of wealth.
Of course.
Hasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, that's not right. So it's kind of a suppression of the working class people. That's what it is. And in America, about 3-4 years ago, America said we have a pandemic because of the opiate. And
opiates,
a lot of medication prescribed by the medical doctors is harmful. And they covered it up with the virus. That as well.
You think that might be what's happened?
That may be part of it. Yes, of course, that covered. Yeah, no, people have to speak up. The more people speak up, that they have their own freedom and things.
It will never end. There will be new boosters all the time.
Is it encouraging to come along and see so many people here standing up?
I was bloody surprised that many.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, do a good job, huh?
Thank you.
You what?
What was your name?
My name's Carlo.
And what's brought you here today?
What has brought me here today? I'm sick and tired of being treated by the tyrants, because this is a fight between good and evil. As I said on the 1st of October, I think it was, my wife was sacked from an old age care unit. She was sacked because they said to her that she has to take the jab. So I said to her, you're not taking the jab because you're my wife and I love you. And I don't know what is in that. I'm speaking like this because my voice is gone. So, cut a long story short, I said on Channel 10, Dave, I'm on TV, I didn't realize it. I said we will not, what's the word?
Comply.
We will not consent. We will not consent under no circumstances, because we now know what is in this jab. It's graphene oxide, anything apparently between 25 and 99.7% graphene oxide. Graphene oxide is a material that is liquefied, which goes into your body and which will merge with your DNA. And Bill Gates is one of the top inventors of that. But apparently Bill Gates is dead already. That's what was just confirmed this week from Real Raw News. Okay, I'm going off track. I said, I talk a video here, do not jab our kids. That is my message. That is my message to Mark McGowan, to Scott Morrison, to Daniel Andrews, to Chris Hunt, Greg Hunt, whatever the guys' names are, all these medical, supposedly learned people that are sold out by the elitists. I say to you, your day is coming. Your day is coming. As sure as I stand here this day of October in Perth, your day is coming. God Almighty will judge you. And that is my message. And I make no apologies for that, because that is what it is. You better adhere to God's kingdom, or you will die in hell and you will suffer forever. That is my message. I don't care what they say. You will not touch my children. I will fight for them. I will fight for this lady. She says, don't jab our kids. I say, do not jab our kids. That is my message.
Passionately spoken.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have just something to add up to him. If you look a little bit in the media, Johnson & Johnson is one of the biggest pharmaceutical in the world. At the moment, in America, they declared themselves bankrupt because there are thousands and thousands of people suing them for their medication that killed their children.
Oh, really? I haven't heard this one.
Yeah, because you don't look the media. Not in the bloody Facebook and their thing.
It's coming.
Look what's going behind the walls. He's right.
I'll have to look into it.
You can ask me questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So-
I won't know what you want me to discuss.
Obviously, from the sign on your back, you're a registered nurse of 40 years. So, what's brought you to the rally today?
I think it's about standing up for what I feel are important rights to retain. Primarily free pro-choice, and again, I'm against coercion of any in a medical nature. It's wrong and it's unconstitutional.
Is this the first rally that you've been to?
No, I've been to several.
Been to a few.
Yes.
Do you think that what's causing the hospital crisis at the moment could be in part due to adverse reactions that are being covered up? Because I've been speaking to a few other nurses and they sort of have this consensus that that could well be what's contributing.
I wouldn't be able to comment on that. Okay. I'm not in an acute area of nursing in the hospital system, so I would refer that to someone who was actually at that coalface.
Sure. And what do you think about this APFRA regulation, which basically means that nurses, even if you saw people have an adverse reaction, you are breaking the law by informing your patients?
Informing your patients?
Is that what it is? So the APFRA basically restricts medical practitioners from saying anything which would jeopardise the current COVID vaccine rollout?
Yes, it appears that we're not being given the right channels to report what we hear as being adverse to the narrative. Let me put it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your time and thank you for coming today.
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
What's the general consensus among the rest of your colleagues?
A lot of fear of losing their jobs, that sort of thing. What do? If you don't get the jab, obviously you're going to lose your job.
Do you think there's a lot more who don't want to get it?
I think it's 50-50. I think, like I said, most have got big mortgages, big cars, lots of toys. You don't want to lose that. So I've been in the game since I was 18. So I'm about to turn 40 next year. So to be told...
so that's about 22 years basically you've been in the industry, and now they're quite happy to get rid of all these experienced professionals because they won't conform to it.
I honestly think they'll bring in the 457 visas that can drive prices down. That's my theory.
That's an interesting theory.
If people decide they don't want the jab and they do lose their jobs, they're going to be forced to do that.
They've already talked about doing that for the medical sector as well. So, yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it and a very valid theory. Thank you.
No worries, thanks.
So I'm here walking with a lady you're a doctor.
Yes, I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor at a local hospital, and I've got two more weeks before I will be stood down.
So, are there many of your colleagues who are doctors who feel the same way as you?
No, not that I know. I know there are doctors, but not that I personally know. But also we don't talk about it much normally.
It's a bit hushed up, right. I've spoken to a few nurses today, and one of the ladies even said, I asked her if she thinks that the current hospital crisis could be possibly being exaggerated by adverse reactions. Do you think that's a possibility?
That's a possibility. Yeah. It's also, they're also, of course, losing staff because they are, people who are saying no are obviously stood down, so that would not help the staff.
That's definitely going to add to the crisis, and it doesn't really make much sense why they would do that in a supposed crisis.
But I did read an article to say they're bringing in overseas healthcare professionals, fast-tracking them.
I saw something like that too, yes, and I just spoke to a guy in the construction industry, and he thinks that might be the situation, that they could bring in people on visas.
Yes, but of course that's supposedly because of the COVID crisis.
Of course. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, we're here with Cody. Is this your first rally that you've been to, Cody?
No, I've been to two more. I went up to Kings Park a couple months back, and then I've been to the last one that was here. And here today last time I was up here holding a Pauline Hanson sign up for everybody and doing my part there, but there's a lot of good parties going around at the moment.
And what brings you to these events?
Well, basically, I don't agree with mandating on people. I follow a lot of constitutional law and stuff like that in Australia, and a lot of science topics and stuff. I've always sort of liked reading and that.
Is your work being affected by the mandates at all?
Yeah, it is. That's the other part. There's a lot of laws being broken, but they're kind of rolling it out through continually declaring states of emergency. It allows them to use these public health orders, and that's how they're getting around forcing companies to mandate it. My company's been pretty good, hasn't really pushed for it, but when that mandate comes in on paper, that'll I'm affected by it as well. I work up in FIFO, so I'm a train driver in the Pilbara. I won't say any company name or anything at this point, but when that mandate comes in, it's basically a choice between lose the ability to feed my family and probably lose my house at some point, and or take the jab under coercion, be forced to take it. So it's.
So are you undecided on what you're going to do when you face that situation?
It's a hard one, and a lot of us are in there. You'd be surprised how many people up in doing FIFO are actually against it. Even people who have taken the jab, people that I've spoken to, they don't agree with constitutional rights and federal laws being broken on this. Australia's always believed in choice and freedom, and that's what they believe in too. And yeah, it gets a hard choice on what to do, but sometimes morals are more important than government mandates. Government's not always the good guy, and they're just not standing with the people at the moment. We really need to get rid of these, the Liberals and Labor. Also the Greens as well as the Nationals, they're all siding with each other and all squishing people's rights.
From what I've been told from a lot of people I've spoken to from the mining sector, they estimate that it's around 80% of people who don't agree with what's going on, and it's interesting that you say that people who have had it are also against what's going on.
Yeah, it's a bit hard. There's a lot of older blokes who believe in like union and stuff like that, and they've had all jabs as when they're growing up and stuff, so they're a little bit biased, but it's trying to teach them that it's like, look, I'm not anti-vax. Like, I've had other vaccines. My kids had vaccines and stuff. Like, so I wouldn't be doing that if I was anti-vax. It's just people deserve the ability to choose, and I would say that the majority do agree with that. I couldn't put an exact percentage on it. It sort of depends place by place. Some places, like there's a few more people on the same side, and other places not so much. But
do you think it matters?
Probably 50-50, I'd say. Like dead set, it's not any less than that. There's a good 50-50 portion, maybe even 60% in favour of not mandates. So.
Do you think it matters about the age group? Do you think that less young people want to get it and more of the older people want it?
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of it's comes down to the media, so and what they've been telling everybody. A lot of people just follow the news, and we have a media problem. We've already known that in Australia for a while, with a lot of journalists getting arrested for.
The media is the virus.
Oh, they are. Like it's
mainstream media, anyway.
Dead set. Yeah, good on the freedom media. That's but we're all in the same boat. We all vote for different parties, and we all have different views and values. But the main thing is, all these people that are coming here, they're not all these right-wing extremists, misinformation. All these people. These are people that are ordinarily affected. You got nurses that are up here 50 years getting fired, and then good industry workers and stuff like myself. We've all paid taxes ever since we've been able to work, and the government's fighting against us. So they're not serving the public anymore.
Yeah, I think the first step to changing things is to break the hold the mainstream media has over people's minds in this country.
It is, and there's a lot of people that are slowly starting to wake up and go, yeah, you know what, like this isn't what I thought it was. A couple of years ago. If you could have showed people everything that's happening today, if you could have showed people that 2 years ago, they would never have said it. But they implement these things slowly, and sort of try and convince everyone, oh, this is what you need to do.
Totalitarianism.
Yeah, it is. It's authoritarianism. Like compare it to fascism, communism, or whatever you want. It's authoritarianism. It's just top-down control of people's lives. You don't have a choice anymore. Just comply, or we'll financially destroy you and segregate you from society. Like it's
coercion at its worst. Thanks for talking to us, Cody.
You're very welcome. I'll probably see you next time.
Hopefully.